My name is Austin Crawford, and I'm in Milford, Illinois. I was working one of my jobs at the time, and it was on the auxiliary police department. I came home and blacked out on the bathroom floor. So that was kind of the start of our journey.
I'm so sorry to hear that. When were you diagnosed with MSA?
We were actually received the diagnosis in June of 2017. Prior to that, we were diagnosed roughly 5 years prior. That was Parkinson's. Because MSA, or multiple system atrophy, mimics Parkinson's quite closely, along with the other atypical Parkinson's.
So was it a misdiagnosis on the doctor's part?
Being that it is such a rare disease, really there's not a conclusive test until after you're gone to get a 100%, so you are either a probable or possible, and I'm probable with MSA-C, which is the cerebellar.
I'm really sorry to hear that. Since MSA is such a rare disorder and most people might not know what it is, do you mind explaining a little bit about the disease?
Basically, multiple system atrophy, and we'll go down and make it easier. Multiple meaning more parts than one are breaking down. So the brain, the spinal cord, and digestion, balance, everything you don't normally think of. The autonomic dysfunctions, basically, where you have no more control over. So really that's the diagnosis actually does take several years to get, and unfortunately a lot of times MSA will actually go from 5, and there are cases of 15 years for survival, but mostly it's roughly about 5 to 10 years.
Okay. And is it a progressive disease? Does it get worse over time?
Yes. It will, basically, putting it mildly, is make you bedridden. Non-verbal, non-functioning for eating, just basically you're existing, and that's why I'm here now, is to raise awareness and let everybody know that this does exist.
Mm-hmm. I'm really glad that you're taking your experience and turning it into something great. You're finding the silver lining and advocating for the disease. It's because a lot of people don't know what it is. So after you were officially diagnosed with MSA, how did that really change and impact your life?
Being that I was so active in the community, I was full-time street superintendent, volunteer fireman, and volunteer EMT with 2 hospitals in 2 different regions, being a police officer, and so being so active and then having all that taken away from you it's a hurdle that some just can't get past, and I'm just fortunate enough to have the support and the understanding that I have in my community.
I'm really glad that you did so many volunteer activities, but I'm sorry to hear that they did not last. You also did a lot of motorcycling, right?
For me, I'm kind of born on motorcycle. I've had one since I was 7 years old. I got my bicycle at 6 and a dirt bike at 7. So I was fortunate enough for my father to say, hey, you know what, you're enjoying it, let's get you one. And just the freedom and the silence that you get when you're on it it's priceless. It really is. And when that journey started coming to an end for me, that's when obviously, since the documentary has been out already, they have made a custom trike for me, just so I could actually keep riding. Actually, we did finally have to give up or end up riding. My motorcycle did not have reverse, so we found a local veteran, and he now has it.
I'm glad someone else is being able to go through the same a great experience that you had with dirt biking and motorcycling. So next, moving on to family, how did they really support you having MSA?
At first, it was a struggle because I kept it a secret, tried to keep it a secret as far as I could for a long time, because I was embarrassed because of falling, being a little bit clumsy, not being able to get my speech out correctly. operation of hands. So it got to the point where we actually did finally tell them, and my grandfather passed away from Lou Gehrig's. So we had background knowing that there are illnesses like this. So that may have helped just a little bit.
Is MSA hereditary, or is it just random?
As far as I'm aware of right now, it is not hereditary, but they are still doing testing, continuous testing. The Multiple System Atrophy Coalition, whom is a big sponsor for us, they're really doing dynamic work for us.
I'm glad that you mentioned the Multiple System Atrophy Coalition, because you were recently elected as the advisory council, right?
Yes, I actually just found that out today.
Congratulations, that's a very big honor. Can you elaborate on what you're going to be doing in terms of advocacy?
Right now, we actually still have our Wheels for a Cause too. When we donated the trike to the local veteran, he didn't want to see me give up, or my goals give up. So he in turn gave us a car, a 1970 Dodge Dart, which we've converted into a rolling billboard. We try to go to car shows and we pass out flyers, and we've actually raised enough money to actually offset costs of wheelchairs or even donated chairs to patients with MSA. Actually, pretty much about everybody will have what they call OH, or orthostatic hypotension, when your blood pressure just drops, and that's what causes you to black out. So after being denied for a wheelchair for almost 2 years, that's what made me want to turn around and try and make a difference for somebody else, not having to wait.
Okay. Yeah, that's amazing. I'm so glad that you're doing that, and really, you're obviously touching so many lives, and I admire that about you. And you also said that you did a documentary and you won for a film festival.
The documentary was about 6 months long, and followed us along. I've always tried to give back somewhat, some way, even a small token. So I made trophies for the fun days, and then I gave it out to not necessarily the cars, but the people and what they stood for. And so that was, they followed us along on my journey and discussed how fortunate I am to have such a great community and friends and family from everywhere.
So do you think MSA has helped you really strengthen your relationship with your community and with your family?
Honestly, it's unfortunate, but I think it has just brought us a little bit closer together. Even though my family just lives 7 miles and my father is quite a bit older. So it's hard for us to get together, but yeah, we send messages back and forth and try and keep in communication.
That's good. Austin, thank you so much for sharing your story. I'm so inspired by everything that you're doing, all the advocacy and the work that you're doing, even after going through such a horrible disease such as MSA.
I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be able to spread more awareness.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else you'd like to mention?
The Tonkawa Film Festival. That was actually where we won Best Documentary. Those guys are phenomenal. I got to meet some celebrities, which was kind of nice, but those guys really just went out of their way to make it more awareness. So I want to say thank you for them and everyone that's been walking alongside me.